we will perform the ash value of crude drug. So the requirements for the practical are crucible and the filter paper, that is Waterman filter paper. Then chemicals required are alcohol, hydrochloric acid, distilled water, and the instrument we will use is muffled furnace.
Aim for the practical is to perform the ash value of given crude drug. So what is ash value? It indicates the total inorganic matter present in a crude drug. Okay. So mainly the ash value is performed via performing the total ash. Then total ash is divided in two parts to determine the acid insoluble ash and water soluble ash. So what is total ash? It is to measure the total amount of material remaining after ignition. Okay, after incineration, the amount of material which is remaining is known as total ash. Then this ash is divided into parts. First, for acid insoluble. So in case of acid insoluble, the total ash insoluble in HCl, that is hydrochloric acid, is determined, and water soluble ash, in this the type of adulteration is found out. So these ash are performed, that is acid insoluble ash and water soluble ash.
Determination of total ash. So for that, incinerate about 2 grams of drug, okay, in a tin, platinum or silica dish at the temperature not exceeding 450 degree until the free from carbon. Cool and weigh. If the carbon free ash cannot be obtained in this way, then exhaust the charred mass with hot water. Collect the residue on ashless filter paper, incinerate the residue and the filter paper, add the filtrate, evaporate to dryness, and ignite at temperature not exceeding 450 degree. Calculate the percentage of ash with reference to the air dried drug. Here is the procedure for determination of acid insoluble ash. So total ash obtained was divided in two parts. First part was taken for acid insoluble ash. To it, 25 ml of dilute hydrochloric acid was added and it was boiled. After boiling, collect the insoluble matter on an ashless filter paper and wash with hot water until the filtrate is neutral. Then transfer the filter paper containing the insoluble matters to the original crucible weighed previously and incinerate it at 450 degree for 6 hours. Allow the residue to cool in a suitable desiccator for 30 minutes and weigh without delay. Calculate the constant content of acid insoluble ash with reference to air dried drug. Determination of water soluble ash. The procedure is same as that of acid insoluble ash. Total ash obtained was divided in two parts and second part was taken for water soluble ash. To it, 25 ml of water was added and boiled. Collect the insoluble matter on an ashless filter paper and wash with hot water until the filtrate is neutral. Transfer the filter paper containing the insoluble matter to the original crucible weighed previously and incinerate it at 450 degree for 6 hours. Allow the residue to cool in a suitable desiccator for 30 minutes and weigh without delay. Calculate the content of water soluble ash with reference to the air dried drug. Now we will perform the procedure.
To perform ash value, we will require the crucible. Okay, so now we will note down the weight of the crucible, that is empty crucible. So the weight of the empty crucible is 21.69 grams. To this empty crucible, we will add 2 grams of crude. So now we have weighed already 2 grams of our drug in this crucible. Okay, this is the lid of the crucible. So now we will keep this for incineration in a muffled furnace. So this instrument is known as a muffled furnace, which is to determine the ash. Okay, so ash value. So here inside this we will keep the crucible which contain the drug, and here we will set the temperature to 450. Okay, so the temperature is already set, that is 450. Now we will insert our crucible into this chamber. We will close the chamber. and the heating is started. After 6 hours, we will remove the crucible, okay, from the furnace, muffle furnace. Now we will calculate the weight of this ash. So this is the total ash which is obtained after incineration. Now we will calculate the weight. So the weight obtained is 21.85 gram with total ash. Now we will divide this total ash in two parts and we will perform acid insoluble and water soluble ash value. Now we will weigh for acid insoluble ash. The total ash obtained is 0.16. So for acid insoluble ash we will weigh 0.08 gram. So this is for acid insoluble ash, and this we will take for water soluble ash. Now we will perform the further procedure. So these are the requirement to calculate the acid insoluble and water soluble ash. Okay, so we have divided our total ash in two parts, that is 0.08 gram for water soluble and 0.08 gram for acid insoluble. So for in case of acid, we are going to use 25 ml of 2 normal HCl and 25 ml of water for water soluble ash. Now we will add acid to this and water to this, that is 25 ml, and we will boil for 5 minutes. Then we will filter this to ashless filter paper, and we will put this filter paper into the crucible and we will incinerate at 450 degrees Celsius. Now we will boil this for 5 minutes. So after 5 minutes we will filter this solution through ashless filter paper. Okay, that is watermelon filter paper. So this is for water soluble. And this is acid insoluble. So after filtration, we will place this filter paper into the crucible which is previously weighed, and then we will incinerate for 6 hours at 450 degrees Celsius in muffle furnace. So after filtration, we will place this filter paper into the crucible. Which is previously weighed, okay. So this is water soluble. This is acid insoluble. Now we will incinerate both the crucibles at 450 degrees Celsius in muffle furnace for 6 hours. Set the temperature to 450 and then place these crucibles into the furnace. So I have placed first crucible of acid insoluble, second of water soluble. And then we will start the muffle furnace. So after 6 hours, we will note down the weight of the crucibles. So this crucible is of water soluble ash value. So the weight obtained after incineration is 21.71 gram. Okay. And this crucible is of acid insoluble ash. So the weight is 23.64 gram.
So here are the calculations. So calculation of ash value. So first we will calculate for total ash. Weigh empty crucible noted as A 21.69 gram. Then weight of crucible after incineration, that was noted as B 21.85 gram. Then the total ash was obtained by subtracting A from B and the value obtained was 0.16 gram. Then the percent total ash was calculated by considering the 2 grams gives 0.16 gram. So X 100 will give X. So the percent total ash obtained was 8%. So here are the calculations for acid insoluble ash. Same way, the weight of empty crucible was noted 23.63 gram. Then the weight of crucible after incineration was noted 23.64 gram. Then the acid insoluble ash was calculated by subtracting A from B and the value obtained was 0.01 gram. Then the percent acid insoluble ash was obtained 12.5 gram. So these are the calculations for water soluble ash. The weight of empty crucible was 21.69 gram. Weight of crucible after incineration was 21.71 gram. Water soluble ash was obtained by subtracting A from B. Then the value obtained was 0.02 gram. Percent water soluble ash obtained was 25%. So the result, ash value of crude drug was performed. Total ash obtained was 8%, acid insoluble ash obtained was 12.5%, and water soluble ash obtained was 25%.